And the title of this message this morning is The Miracle Seed. Are you ready for the ingrafting? This morning, as I told you, is a rehearsal of the things to come. The question that you must ask yourself this morning is, are we ready for Yeshua glorious return? The reason we are here today is because I want you to be ready with us. So I want to deal with the deeper and the weightier issues of preparing for Yeshua's return. You have a Torah now, but does that mean that you're ready? I want to look at what it's going to take to get ready. Because the Torah portion, the Torah portion name give us the headline for the portion, for what it's about. And we would expect this Torah portion to be called the unmasked. Revelation, but it's called Vayigah. He approached. We must understand that there is a reason that the Torah portion called He approached. And as we read about the approach of Judah to Joseph, we must understand that this is messianic. And it has to do very much with the future redemption of Israel. Because next week is the last portion in the book of Genesis. And it's called Vayechi, which means he lived. That redemption already come. It's a prophetic picture of the redemption already next week. But this week is so important because we are one portion. They're on the verge of redemption, but redemption yet to occur. Throughout this week, I have been talking to you about a road, like a highway, and going through an highway. This highway actually going to have 4 parts to it. I remember I was just going to Africa. And I was thinking, wow, the road is really great. It's not that bad. And they told me, just wait. Then the next 30 kilometers, you start to get bumpy. And then the next 30 kilometers, it felt like my stomach is going inside out and upside down. And then the last 30 kilometers, it got really bad. There was no road anymore. We start our journey with the Torah of Israel. It might be smooth for a while. When we start our walk with the Messiah, it might be easy for a while. But I promise you, it's going to get bumpy. It's got bumpy for Jacob, Joseph, and his sons. Go to the next slide, please. There is an underlying tone to understand prophecy. The action of the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their descendants, are the signs for the sons. In essence, we can learn a lot about the bumpiness right before the redemption that they have experienced. As a matter of fact, there was a rabbi named Nachmanides, and he says the following. Next slide. He says that all the stories of the fathers come to tell us the future as it related to their descendants. The reason that we need a Torah, because a Torah will tell us how to act in the last days. You following what I'm telling you? The Torah is like a GPS that will direct us and will guide us in the last days. When we get to redemption, kind of, when I talk about going up a mountain and meeting Messiah, it's in a road that have 4 parts to it. Where in the top of the mountain we have what's called, let's call it Geula, redemption. There are 3 other we must go through. This is the steps that each and every one of you will have to go through. Step number 1, conflict. How many of you like conflict? Does anybody here like conflict? No, we don't like conflict. The Torah teaches that every conflict for the sake of the kingdom is a great conflict. You are going to have a conflict because the Torah is here. I promise you, Dinesh. There will be a group here in this country that will say, "Oh, Dinesh, you putting people under the old law." You are probably going to be persecuted for this Torah. Here is my advice to you and all of you as we're establishing a messianic synagogue and movement in this nation. Rejoice. Rejoice. When the conflict starts, it means that you are one step closer to redemption. Hallelujah. Think about the story of Joseph and his brother. It started with what? Did it start with they lived happily ever after? Or did it start with a conflict? It started with a conflict. Rejoice when you have those conflicts. But the question is, how do we deal biblically with the conflicts? How do we deal biblically with the conflict inside the body of Messiah? Well, obviously here, we have to very first understand the nature of conflict. Oh, you don't like the Torah? You don't like the Torah? Why don't you like the Torah? When people are going to challenge you about the Torah, don't just lash at them. Try to investigate the reason that they're against it. Well, they got to misquote some passages from the New Testament. And then you will refute those. Are you following what I'm telling you? The second step, or the second set of in the road, the second dimension that you're going to go up to is called in Hebrew berur. Which literally translated is investigation, clarification, inquiry. That is evident that this is going to happen. When you have to defend your position, that's a good place to be. When you have to explain why you're not in a Sunday church and you worship on the Shabbat, rejoice. And a matter of fact, Joseph and his brother have to go through a stage of biruim, understand really what's going on here. And if we're able to be honest, only when Joseph was convinced about the brothers, and notice that I put it in yellow for a specific reason. I put it in yellow. The third stage starts. The third stage called the tikkun. Tikkun means to repair. Do you know what we are doing here in Sri Lanka? We are doing repair for the name of Yeshua. We are doing that all over the world, and especially in Asia right now. We are fixing and restoring the honor to the name of the King of Israel. Can I hear amen? We're not here to play synagogue. We're not here to dress like Jews. We're not here around a little Torah. This is not what we are here to do. You know, some people were watching videos and they say those are wannabe dress up Jews. And it's true, there are some people who just want to dress up, we call them wannabes. But a real tikkun means that you change something from the inside out, not from the outside in. Which means that you take upon yourself a new identity, a Jewish identity. Think about it. Did the tikkun with Joseph came until the brothers, a brother was willing to risk his own life and put his on the line. Joseph looked at them and he did not reveal himself until the tikkun made among the brothers. Until he saw real brotherly love, he did not reveal himself. The tikkun and ultimately the redemption, step number 4, that's where we all want to get to the state of redemption. Is dependent upon you. It's not dependent upon Yeshua. You see, Joseph was waiting for an action that's going to lead to a reaction. Yeshua is for an action that is going to lead to a reaction. That's what we're doing here. I have been praying and praying that that will not be a religious ceremony, but that God will really change people's hearts. I'm curious, anybody's heart has been changed and touched today? Look at this. Look at this. Praise be to God. This is what it is about. So I want to get with you into the deeper third stage, because this is where we are at right now. Judaism and Christianity have been in conflict for 2,000 years. We know that Yeshua is the Jewish Messiah and Messiah of the world. But the question is, how, step 3, how do we bring him to the world? This answer, the secret to answer this question, find in the words of the Torah. Vayigah, he approached. When Judah approached Joseph. Now, our sages tell us that very much immediately after that, the redemption starts. Pay attention with me what the text says. This is the Torah portion. He said that Judah went up to him. Look with me. And Judah went up to him. And he said, please, my Lord, let your servant appeal to my Lord. And do not be impatient with your servant. You also is equal to Pharaoh. Now I need you to understand something. When you read the verse in English, it seems very, very clear. But the Hebrew holy tongue, the Torah of the language of the Torah is Hebrew, is not clear at all. Wait a second. Joseph is basically the king. Stop and ask yourself the question, how can some guy show up from Canaan, can approaching him such a way? Something here, it's almost an accent mark that we are missing in the text that you pick in the Hebrew language. And the question you ask yourself is, what is the mode of Judah when he is approaching Joseph? The language of the Torah here is very unique. Why did he move closer to him? Who was Judah that he can approach Joseph in such way? It's inconceivable. The rabbi's been asking this question, and they are giving us actually a shocking revelation. So listen to this. It is an accepted fact among kings that the most highly placed ministers and advisors are sitting in front of the king. And when some come to present a request to the king, he does not present it he does not present his case while standing between the advisors and the king.
කෙලින්ම රජට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ නමුත් ඔහුගේ മന്ത്രിවරු එවනත අවවාද කරන മന്ത്രിවරු හරහා තමයි මේ රජට මේ කණ්ඩායම ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ.
He must stand outside the circle of advisor.
අතන මේ ඉල්ලීම ඉදිරිපත් කරන එක්කෙනා ඒ අවවාද අනුශාසකවරුගේ එළියේ ඉඳගෙන තමයි මේක ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ.
And then the circle of advisors separates the petitioner from the king who presides on the throne.
ඊට පස්සේ අනුශාසකවරු තමයි
And here's the important piece. Up to this point, Judah has stood outside the circle. When we read the word Vayigah, he approached Joseph. It means that Judah moved forward to within the circle. Separating the advisors from the king himself. He did so in order that the advisors should not be able to hear what he was about to tell Joseph. So I want you to get the picture here. There is the king, there is Joseph, there is advisors, and there is a person who wants to come before the king. That is Judah. Judah goes around them and approach Joseph and cut the middleman. The action of Judah is a shocking action. Who is Judah? What do we know about Judah? Is Judah really, you know, when we read the story, we think he's coming to him and saying, "Excuse me, Joseph, excuse me, I have a request to ask." This is not what took place. And a matter of fact, Judah exercised what in Hebrew chutzpah. A chutzpah is nerve. He have a chutzpah to say, "Move over. I am going to talk to him directly." Are you following what I'm telling you? That is way out of order. And the rabbis in the Midrash is telling us something shocking about Judah now. And as a matter of fact, we read this twice a week. On Monday and on Thursday, we read this psalm. It's based on the psalm. And Judah told Joseph, the reason, this is what the Midrash says, "I am equal to you. Just as you are king," he's saying to Joseph, "Holy Kamali. Just as you are king, Joseph, so am I." And a matter of fact, that is what the psalm said. The psalmist tells us the following. It's a messianic verse. Look at the psalm with me. Next slide. It says, "For lo, the king has said himself, they come onward together." This is not a simple exchange between the king of Egypt to some low Judah has received, he pushed over those advisors and he come eye to eye with the king of Egypt. Pay attention, this is prophetic. In this word Vayigash, Yehuda, the complete tikkun and the complete roadmap to a reconciliation between Joseph to Judah, between the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. Our commentators speak about the fact that Joseph, or his name later known as Ephraim in the scripture, and Judah represent the Jewish people, will reunify. Go back, go back, go back. Don't get ahead of me. Go back. Then go back another one. Go back. Here you go. When he says Amikwa, it's representing two kingdoms, Judah and Joseph, who will get reconciled together. So the commentators speak about the reunifications of two kingdoms. And just now, by the way, a cross reference to that is Isaiah chapter 11. But what this portion is giving us a model of reconciliation between Jews and Gentiles. This Torah, Daniel, better be a Torah of reconciliation. Yeah, it's probably going to bring some conflicts. But ultimately, may it bring Geulah upon Sri Lanka in the name of Yeshua. Now, when he came to him, now you can go back. You can go to where you were. He approached him in the word Nigash. Look at what it says about the word Nigash. Rabbi Bachaya says that the word Nigash, approach, actually have three different meanings. He's not coming to him and saying, oh, excuse me, Mr. Joseph. See. No. Now you will understand how come he pushed everybody over. Judah approached Joseph as a king. And in three different demeanors. Come to judge him. He come to reconcile with him. But make no mistake, if he's not letting Benjamin go, he is getting ready to cut him. Wow, are you hearing what I'm telling you? And the sages explained to us that this word can mean all three. And look at what Rabbi Bachaya said. He said Yehuda, Judah, combined all of those three meanings when he approached him. I love it. He spoke like somebody who is fully armed. He spoke like somebody is ready for military confrontation. Hello? Our rabbi said that really what he meant to say is this: you may find in me a partner for a discussion. And I can be conciliatory. I can be your your friend. If you want to debate right and wrong, that's okay. However, his demeanor is, if you want to use your military power, I am willing to confront you, Joseph. Are you hearing what I am telling you? That's where the way he approaching him. He said, I'm ready to go to my brother Benjamin. How interesting it is that they never went for these to battle like that for Joseph, but they're willing to do it for Benjamin. He's willing to do it for Benjamin. Wow, what a tikkun. We are having here a heavy fight that's about to take place. Look what Rabbi Bachia says, continue next slide, and he says the following. Alternatively, the word be means the guilt is all on me. Judah willing to fight and die, and he's taking upon himself the entire of Benjamin. He pleaded with Joseph not to treat Benjamin as a sole guilty party, but consider him, Yehuda, the guilty party instead. Incredible. And I like what Rabbi Bachia says, that throughout the entire story, Judah is focusing on one thing and one thing only. Substitution for Benjamin. He actually, it says, Judah have no other purpose than to serve as a slave instead of his brother Benjamin. This is a different what we read. We think he approached him in some meekness. He does not approach him in meekness, friends. He say, I am willing to have a conflict for the sake of heaven, because what is right is what is right, and what is wrong is wrong. My challenge to you this morning is, don't say, I am going to be wishy-washy, I'm going to dance with the Torah on Shabbat, and then on Sunday I'll go and do the wrong things. Don't do that. So what is this conflict is truly about? Our rabbis told us, if you want to understand this conflict, you want to understand that this conflict is necessary for the redemption of Israel. This conflict is about jealousy, beloved. This conflict is necessary for the redemption. Look at me. Look with me at Isaiah 11:13. It says, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart. Hallelujah. And the day that harassment of Judah will be stopping. Christianity have been harassing my people for 2,000 years. It's time to move away from this jealousy and unify yourself with Judah. Can I hear a man? Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? And a matter of fact, just as a reminder from yesterday, go to this slide just to remind you. Next slide. It says in the Torah, just earlier, that Judah identified himself not once, not twice, but 3 times actually, as the servant of God. Who is the servant of God according to Isaiah 52:13? Who is it? For behold, my servant will prosper, it will be high and will be lifted greatly. Who is the servant of the Lord? Messiah. Wait a second. But Judah, here you go, pay attention. But Judah is calling himself the Messiah in essence. But if Ephraim is, or Joseph is also the Messiah, the rabbi asked the question, how come we have 2 different Messiah in the text? Are you hearing me right now? There is not one messianic figure. There are 2 messianic figures. Go to the next slide. And to make things work, they're about to go into a boxing match with each other. Wait a second. 2 messiahs fighting against each other? That is exactly right. Listen to the commentary. Just stay there. Stay there. Listen to the commentary from Rabbi Ashkenazi. I am going to make sure that we understand what this conflict is about in this text here with you. Look at this. Rabbi Ashkenazi said, in the depth of the portion, the heart of the conflict between Judah and Joseph is found in the conflict between the 2 leaderships of Israel. The first leadership is called the Messiah, son of Joseph. And the second leadership called the Messiah, son of David. And Messiah, son of Joseph, and Messiah, son of David, going to oppose each other. Explain that the responsibility, let's understand what this conflict is between the 2 messiahs. The responsibility of Joseph is to meet the physical and the national needs of Israel. And the responsibility of David is a responsibility of a higher level. He is responsible for the spiritual and unique role of Israel. Joseph represents the body of the nation. And David represents the spirit of the nation. Here is my favorite part. Here is my favorite part. From this we can learn that this conflict is only temporary conflict. The body needs the soul and the soul needs the body. And together they establish the Jewish identity. The Lubavitcher Rabbi actually continued. And he said that the word Vayigash is the very heart of the Torah portion. Not the revelation and not the unmasking. But the unification that comes from separation. It is the conflict, and it is the way that the conflict that handled to bring the unity. Israel needs Joseph, Messiah son of Joseph, and Israel needs Messiah son of David, Judah, to come together. Now let me tell you something. Israel today the son of David. The nations are holding the son of Joseph. And the rabbi said that this conflict is necessary for the two to become one. And a matter of fact, the Midrash continue in quoting from Amos chapter 9. Next slide. A verse you all familiar. In that day I will raise a fallen sukkah. To whom? To David. I will restore his breaches, raise up his ruins, and rebuild it as the days of old. Notice something very interesting. God is going to destroy Edom. God is going to destroy the nations. But it's going to be a remnant from the nation. Hallelujah. You are the remnant. You are the remnant. And God is not going to destroy you. He's going to spare you. And the nation will be called by my name. This is the name of God. It is the declaration of the one who will do this. God will do it. Where I want you to pay attention to. Verse 13, we skip over this. Behold, days are going to come soon. When we see this expression, the days are coming soon, are days of the coming of the Mashiach. It is a declaration of God. And look at this. When the plowman will overtake the reaper. And the one treading on the grapes will be the one sowing seeds. And in these days the mountain will drip sweet wine. Who is the plowman here, and what is it actually says? Look at what actually the Hebrew said. The Hebrew does not say that the plowman will overtake the reaper. That's not what Hebrew says. What's the word that is used here? Vanigash. Nigash. What's the Torah portion name? That's called in Hebrew Gizra Shavah. Choresh Bakotzer, which means the plowman not will overtake the reaper, he will become the reaper. When you put the letter bet before the text, it means he will become him. The two will become one. Ephraim, Messiah son of Joseph, will become the Messiah son of David. And we will be able to converge Yeshua with the Messiah son of David. The Geulah will come. So continue and explain the following to us. They say that go back. That the plowman is none other than the Judah, the Messiah. Judah, Israel, as we know it, the Jewish people are represented by the Messiah, son of David. And the reaper, according to Jewish understanding, is the nations who are holding the Messiah, son of Joseph. Now, according to the text here, the one who is sowing the seed, the one who is putting the seed into the ground, is not the son of David. It's the son of Joseph. We are standing here in an historic weekend to reclaim the unification of the two kingdoms and to reclaim the unification of two messiahs into one. The perfect ingrafting of Joseph to Judah and Judah to Joseph, the Messiah of the Gentiles, to the Messiah that the house of Israel will recognize. Are they the same person? Only when they reunify, they become the same person. Only when they reconcile, they become the same person. You and I were called for an historic reconciliation of Joseph and of David, of Judah, David. We have been called for this historic reconciliation. Joseph is not complete without his brothers and vice versa. So while Christians all over the world, it's true, Christianity as a whole represents the Messiah, son of Joseph. Why are we here in Sri Lanka? We are here because believe we need to go to the next step. We need to reconcile Yeshua, Joseph, back to Judah. So to make them one. That's why we are here, for a process of reunification. The two messiahs as one messiah. You have been called to God mandate. You see, I am Judah. I am not Joseph. I cannot do your job. I cannot reconcile. I cannot reconcile Joseph. But you can reconcile Joseph. We have to have each other, Jew and Gentile, working together to reconcile. Amen? I want to settle it up with you. You must. If you truly love Yeshua, how many of you in the room love Yeshua? You need to understand that Yeshua is lamenting and crying and every second, every day, every moment, even now. Because he's not unified with Judah. And God is raising a time like that to be together with the Jewish people. And remember what it says. It said when the plowman will overtake. It's talking about the plowman who's going to be overtaking. But it's also going to be a period of sowing the seeds. The sowing of the seed is not the job of the Jewish people. The sowing of the seeds is the job of the nations who receive Yeshua first. It is time now to prepare the soil for the seeds that are held by the Messiah, son of Joseph. Yes, he is a Christian Messiah. But the second that he touches the soil, and the soil become David, the seed dies, and it produces something new. It produces a new fruit. So when Yeshua about the parable of the sower, Matthew 13, in conclusion, he says a sower went out to spread some seed. Now, has there been anything wrong with the seed? Anything wrong with the seed? The seed is perfect. The seed is perfect. But look what's happening. The seeds, some of them fell upon the road. Sometimes the bird ate it. Some on rocky ground. Some got destroyed by the sun. But there are some who fallen on good seed, on good soil, I mean. And they start to produce a lot of fruit. And they yielded corn. Are you feeling? I'm telling you today, they yield great fruit. The seed and the soil have to come one. Yes, Christianity and Judaism have to reconcile and meet in the middle point. And we already saw from Amos 9, the seed is the Mashiach ben Yosef. We'll call it Christianity. But the ground represents the Messiah ben David. How many Christians says to me, oh, I don't need Jewish people, I have Jesus. You don't have Jesus until he comes as son of David. Amen. You don't have him. Just as we Jews, we don't have him until we see Joseph. Are you following what I'm telling you today? And this challenge for you in this holy Shabbat, holy morning, is a simple question. Are you planted? Are you planted on the right soil? And here is the way you would know if you're planted on the right soil. If you truly on the right soil, you will become one with the Jewish people. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Are you hearing this? If you're on the right soil, you would love the Jewish people. You would love the state of Israel. And you would want to practice messianic Judaism. Doesn't mean that you're Jewish. But you know what happened to a seed in the ground? A seed actually dies. It dies in the ground. And you have to be resurrected. He doesn't want to resurrect you, Dinesh, as Dinesh. He wants to resurrect you as Daniel. Just as it took Joseph died in Egypt, and God has changed his name in Egypt. He's changed his name in Egypt from Joseph to Yehoseph. He added the hey to the name of Joseph. God wants to change your name. Are you planted today in a good place? Where the place says son of David will be able to recognize the authentic seed of Joseph. We need to be authentic to the Jewish people so that they will want to embrace the seed. So they want to say, oh no, they will not do this against the Christians. So we want to embrace the Christians. We want to embrace the believers. The challenge and the reason I brought you this holy gift is to remind you that there is really a reunification that is coming. And there is real ingrafting of the seed in the soil that's going to be taking place. The two messiahs are going to have to become one. And are you ready for this? Yeshua wants us so much. Go to the next slide. Yeshua wants us so much. Matt, can you play you and Sonny? I want to give a chance to people tonight, to this morning, to really respond and make a covenant with the God of Israel. Yeshua is this real and authentic seed. But the only way that this seed will spring, and as the word of our master, bear much fruit, and the fruit will stand, is if he put himself in the right soil. I'm actually going to invite all the messianic pastors and their wives. We're going to do something different.